introduce the so-called lowercase, and we'll see how from capital letters we arrived to the minuscule, that is the proper name for the lowercase letters. But before we start, I'd just like to say something in general about lowercase and uppercase. In today use of um, in today use of the Latin alphabet, we have two distinct sets of letters that represent more or less the same thing. Okay, they can be read in the same way. Um, One is the uppercase. We studied. The other one is the lowercase. Okay, and uh, today these two variants of the same letters are sometimes interchangeable, but sometimes they are not, because they work for a specialized goal. I mean, you can write the same word, let's say, in two ways. But um, they are not completely um, equivalent, and we uh, will find very weird to have a text written in all capital letters. Okay, so usually they have a special purpose. And it depends on languages and the orthography of certain language. For example, in Italian, we use uppercase for name of persons. Obviously, when we start a new paragraph after a full after a period, and so on, so on. While other languages use uh, uppercase more liberally, and they have more uppercase in their writing. So today, a complete uh, alphabet, the complete typeface should include lowercase and uppercase letters, and they are not exactly the same. But before we arrived at this division between lowercase and uppercase. Uh, uh, those letters were just a variation of the same alphabet. So um, you can find in uh, ancient times um, text written in all lowercase, or as we have seen, text written in all uppercase. They were basically the same thing. As today we have different fonts, for example, and we can write the same text in different fonts for style, for whatever reason. In the past, lowercase, what we now call lowercase and uppercase, were just two different style for the same thing. This is different now. Just to make this clear, if I write my name, this would be considered okay in terms of orthography. If I write this same name like this, sorry, this would be really weird. Okay, this is very strange. That's because today uppercase and lowercase have a purpose, have a function in terms of the writing system and in terms of the internal rules of a writing system. Okay, now let's go back to the origin of lowercase. Um, Lowercase letters, the origin of lowercase letters in the Latin alphabet is not that clear, but at a certain point in the history and in the development of the Latin writing system, we see uh, in the second or third century after Christ. Okay, um, we start to see the appearance of letters that are not no more classifiable as capitals. We already said that capital letter can be defined in terms of mm, their respect of the two line system. Okay, so we have this situation. Okay, that is we define uppercase and the capitals, the appropriate name, is capitals, as we have seen. We can define it in terms of the two-line system, the baseline and cap 8. Now, the the minuscule or lowercase are letters that are no more defined in this way, but they are inscribed inside a four-line system. Okay, and four-line system means that you find letters that have ascenders. So this zone here is called ascenders, and letters that are that go below the baseline in this zone here, and they are called descenders. Okay. Again, let's okay. In conclusion, we have a four-line system now. This line is the baseline. Then we have the second line here is called the X8. Then we have the ascenders. And then we have descenders. Okay. This system of four lines define, so let's say four line system define the minuscule or lowercase. Etc. 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 Now, keep in mind these names because they are really relevant for us when we design typefaces. The so-called X8 um, is the 8 of lowercase x, obviously, and um, it is important because the ratio between the x8 and body 8, the body 8 is the total 8, okay? So this one should be the body 8. Okay, the ratio between x8 and body 8 um, define the real height and the real size of of the font. Okay, if you have a font with same body height, let's say, and with a huge x8, this is what it looks like. Okay, and if instead you have a small x8 and um, so the ascender and descenders are mm, relatively bigger, you can see that the appearance of these two um, examples uh, is very different because what tell you the real size of your font is what you see. So the X8 is the main the main zone for your letter. But we will see this um, in the future. Now, let's go to the history of our alphabet. Okay. So what you're seeing here is an image reproduction of letters that represents the old uh, early minuscule. Okay. As I said before, there is a debate, or there was a debate among scholars about the origin of this writing. Um, some scholars suppose that these letters came from mm, the technical changes in terms of writing tools. Others see that notice that these letters actually emerged in the context of mm, everyday writing. I mean, writing, private writing, writing that was not um, um, how can I say, uh, the writing of every day of every person, not an example of high culture, but an example of culture of the people. Now, uh, this was supported by the fact that these um, letters were not found in books or other manuscripts of that kind, but you can find it in graffiti on walls and such. So the idea is that while the Roman society uh, became more and more complex and more sophisticated in some way, um, the use of writing was no more the exclusive was not more exclusive to the higher classes, but um, literacy was quite widespread. So people every day used writing, and probably these letters came from a simplification of the capital letters in different stages, obviously. So the deformation of the um, uppercase became what now we call the minuscule. By the way, the important thing is that at a certain point, we know that in Roman society, writing was a social practice that was quite mm, diffused among the population. And the second thing is that uh, by simplifying, and the simplification can come also from the speed of writing. Um, in a process, you start recognizing another style of writing altogether. So, what was the uppercase gradually became the lowercase. Um, then this writing um, became sorry. Then after a period, you can find the minuscule as in more refined example, for example, books and things like that. And more or less, this style became what it is now, more or less. Here you can see some example. You can you can see that you can recognize the fact that some of these letters rise above the uh, the two-line system, and some of them um, go below the two-line system. You can see this is a P, for example, that goes below the baseline, okay, etc., etc. Now, at the same time, um, even the uppercase, the capital letter, um, became another style of writing that is very different from the traditional epigraphic um, capitals that we have seen and that we now call anchal. Okay, anchal letter are quite round, but they still can be classified as capitals because they are inscribed in a two-line system. So this is the definition of uh, capital letters. Now, um, I don't want to discuss too much about the other variant of uppercase letters because it will take too much time, but we will fill all these holes in the next lessons. For now, let's assume that at a certain point, the everyday user writing deformed the uppercase, the capital letters, and we start to recognize letters that are no more inscribed in a two-line system, but in a four-line system. We then can uh, can study all the differences and all the passages from the early minuscule to new minuscule. The other use of writing where we see this development toward a minuscule lowercase is the documentary writing or um, the style of writing you see in offices and stuff, and in places like this. You must know that the Roman Empire had a huge bureaucracy to maintain the empire. So the written documents were, mm, I mean, there was a huge need for written documents for the trade and so on and so on. So all these written documents at one point, more or less the same period of time that I mentioned, second, third century, and so on, um, became minuscule in the sense that we see this four-line system with letters with ascender and descender. And also, it became more cursive. Now, for the concept of cursive, as I said in another lesson, uh, it just means that it is written quickly. So the speed of writing is important in terms of the shapes we see. In fact, when you write quickly, letters tend to be connected one with the other. And this is something that create the so-called ligatures. Now, what happened and how the lowercase we use today came to us in some way was transmitted to us. The process is not that linear. Now I have to switch to uh, the board. Sorry. Okay. 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 Um, I described in general term the process and in the evolution of writing from late antiquity to uh, mm, uh, the early Middle Ages. Okay, so what we saw is that we at a certain point in the Roman Empire we see mm, the use of capital letters. Then we see the minuscule. These are general categories. So inside capital letters, we have seen the epigraphic um capitals. We have seen the book capitals, and also something else. Then for the minuscule, we have the early in the minuscule that we saw. Then we have a cursive minuscule. We have the so-called half punctual, etc., etc. So these are two broad categories. Now, you must know that while the Roman Empire became bigger and bigger and complex, mm, more complex, um, at a certain point it collapses. Now we won't study how and why the Roman Empire collapses, but at a certain point it certainly collapses. In particular, in the West, because with Emperor Constantinus, I don't know, we say Costantino. By the way, the Roman Empire was split into one was the Eastern Roman Empire, and the other the Western Roman Empire. And the Eastern Roman Empire, with the capital city in Constantinople, the city that you know today is Istanbul. So in today's Turkey, there was the so-called Byzantine Empire, or the Eastern Roman Empire, and the Western Roman Empire survived for time and then collapses. Europe was, after the collapse of the Roman Empire, Europe was divided in several kingdoms, etc. So the political unity that was at the base of the Roman Empire, and the cultural unity that was the effect of this political unity, collapses too. So Europe became something different, and every region, every piece of land has started to develop their own language. Okay, that's why from Latin we have languages like Italian, Spanish, French, Romanian, etc., that are derived from the original Latin substratus. Now, we also have the other language of Northern Europe that developed from Germanic roots. So, at the same time, writing itself became the object of the same process of subdivision. And we find regional writing style that are very, very hard to read and are quite strange, like the Merovingian and Visigothic and so on and so on. Sorry. Uh, so, what we can say is this: if this is the this is sorry, um, Roman after the collapse. We start seeing writings. Okay, where letters are different their original matrix. Mhm. Okay, what I mean, no, but I'm afraid my internet connection doesn't work. Okay. So, to summarize, we have the Roman Empire um, at its higher stage. At a certain point, the Roman Empire collapses, and every region of Europe started to develop their own languages and a different writing styles. Okay, this uh, is the breakup of the unity of Latin writing system. But with the rise of Charlemagne, uh, and so with the rise of the so-called Holy Roman Empire in the Middle Ages, there was a new process of unification of writing, of the writing style. And we will discuss this after a break because I'm very, very tired and I not feeling too well. So give me a 15-minute break and I will be uh, again online.
Okay, thank you.
Um, the evolution of writing should be studied in the context of the social and political um, landscape of Europe at that time. Now, I assume that you know the basic of European history and the, the basic of the European history in the Middle Ages. By the way, we saw that at a certain point the Roman Empire collapsed. So what was left in Western Europe was a um, subdivision of small states, even if the word state is an exaggeration. By the way, we had this breakup and this isolation of small pieces of land where every region uh, start to develop their own culture, its own culture, sorry. So uh, after some time in the 8th century, more or less, when the um, kingdom uh, of Charlemagne started to unify again Europe, at least a part of Europe. And in this period, we start to talk about the Holy Roman Empire. So it was an empire, let's say, that mm, have Christianity as the its base, and in this context, we also start to see something in terms of writing style. A new writing style emerged, and it was basically a lowercase, a minuscule. Now we call this style Carolingian writing. Now we use this term because Carolingian means it is the name of the family of Charlemagne, etc., etc. So um, the name Charles in Charlemagne in Latin is Carolus, so Carolingian. Now, the Carolingian minuscule is a kind of revival of old Latin minuscule that we saw before. I will show you something. This is an example from the 9th century. And you can see that it is a lowercase. You can see it is lowercase because it is clearly visible the 4-line system. If I zoom in, you can find a central alignment that is the X8 we talked before, and then you see letters like D, S, blah, 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 P, that goes above the X8 and below the baseline. So this can only described in terms of a four-line system. Now, um, someone want to enter. Okay. Oops. Okay. So I have somewhere a no 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 no. No. Okay. Now, if you look at it, we say that we can recognize the four-line system. Again, minuscule or lowercase, it is equivalent, say, four-line system instead of two-line system. We also can see that they used um, capital letters as special letter to start uh, verses in this case. This is a gospel. So every verse starts with a capital letter written in red ink to mark the beginning of new verse. You can also see that inside you can find also other letters that are a bit strange, like the N here, that is not a normal Carolingian N, etc., etc., etc. Now, the other thing you may notice is that this writing is a bit hard to read, but more or less it is the same lowercase that we use today. And this is because there was another revival in the period known as the Renaissance, or let's say the 16th century, uh, um, 15th century, where this writing here became the base of a new revival for a new minuscule that later became the basis for the typographic lowercase. So if I zoom in, you can see the M here is quite similar to the M, the B, the O, the U. This is a T that is a bit different from our T. And basically, it is all that we have today. It is the same. Okay, so the Carolingian minuscule is important because it is the base of our present day typographic lowercase, even with some, if with some modification. And a morphological analysis of this writing style can tell you that, again, we can see this contrast this contrast between thin and thick strokes, that is the effect of the broad pen, the calamus or the quill pen. So we talked about this a lot. We used the term by Norzi translation, contrast derived by translation, and that's exactly what we see here. Okay. The pen, the writing angle of the pen is more or less 30 degree, and that's why you see that in the top right section of the letter, you find the thick strokes, while at the bottom right section, you find thin strokes. Okay. By observing the O, you can see that there is an axis, a slanted axis, and that's quite simple to understand how it was written. By the way, when you take a calligraphy class, for example, um, they teach you the minuscule as the foundation, so-called foundational, and it is basically derived from the Carolingian minuscule. So even today, the basis for learning calligraphy is this writing here. Another thing that you can appreciate in these examples here is the so-called hierarchy of scripts. It means that there was a literal hierarchy of writing styles. Here you can see that they mixed writing style here known as Hanchal. Then we have capital letters and minuscule. Here, for example, the capital letters are used incipit liber exodus to start a new book. Okay, this is a Bible. So this is the starting of the book known as Exodus. And the first word are written in Anchal, that is another capital style, and then you have the minuscule. You can also see that this writing was written, it is more soft than the uh, mm, capitals, and it is slightly uh, slanted. You can see that it's not perfectly upright, and then you can also see that there are ligature where letter are fused together. Look at this point here where the G um, is connected to the E that is connected to the L. We can find also the so-called book capitals that we have seen last lesson, mixed together with other style. Okay. In this example here, that I suppose it is, this is a so-called insular writing. Insular means island, and it means the territory that we now call England, Great Britain, etc., etc., that is an island disconnected from the continental Europe. By the way, in these examples, in this example here, you can see clearly the effect of the pen and this contrast style that we have called translation. Okay, because if you look at the Q and the O and the C, you can easily recognize the trace of the pen that we have described. Okay, so the basis for our lowercase is this one. It is the Carolingian writing. I say that we took these as the basis for our lowercase in typography because after this period, the Carolingian period, we have another period where this writing style became another writing style that we now call Gothic or Black Letter. And they are really different in terms of what we see because it is a writing style where you don't have curves, but almost only straight lines. By the way, after some time, so we are talking about the Middle Ages, from the 9th century or 10th century to the 12th century, etc. But at the end of this period, there was another revival, a refusal to use the Gothic script, and a revival of the Carolingian writing. Okay. We can see this revival in the humanistic, oops, what is happening? You can see this revival in Italian calligraphy in the 15th century, where they tried to revive the Carolingian writing. If you observe this example from Poggio Bracciolini, an Italian intellectual of the 15th century. You can see that there is a straightforward attempt to copy the style of Carolingian minuscule. Okay, so I just want to now I make a summary of all these things before we can pass to the mm, typographic lowercase. Uh, okay, one second. Okay, I hope I can. Okay, so to summarize, um, we have the Roman period with our capitals and early minuscule. Then we have a breakup is the breakup of Roman Empire. Then we have the development of regional scripts. Then we have the let's see, Charlemagne and the Holy Roman Empire. And then we have the Carolingian minuscule. Okay. Okay, so in here we are more or less in the 9th, 10th century. Okay, now just a few words about the term uppercase and lowercase. Now, why we do use uppercase and lowercase? I don't know if you know the origin of this term, but it is typographic. The reason is just this. As you know, typefaces in the past were composed by small blocks made with an alloy of lead and other things. By the way, they were arranged in a literal case in a cabinet. Okay, when you have these all these small blocks, each one representing a letter, arranged in a case. Now, it was um, mm, the layout of these cabinets was made in this way. In the top case, you have had your capital letters, and below there was another case where you had the minuscule. So the lower case was just an actual drawer inside a cabinet. Now, let's see if I can. If this is the cabinet, here you have one drawer here and one drawer here. Now, when you open the first one, here you have your capitals, and the other drawer was for the lowercase. So these terms came from the way these metal blocks were arranged in the typographic workshop. Okay, but we still use today for some reason. Because sometimes it's easy to carry on with the old term, and they are transferred from one technology to the other. Now we don't have this difference anymore. I mean, we don't use physical types, so they are not arranged in a cabinet with drawers and so on. But we retain this way of talking about our letters. The appropriate terms are capital letters and minuscule. But in typographic jargon, we use uppercase and lowercase, and that it is the terms that are used every day. So it is correct to use uppercase and lowercase, but I will continue using capital and minuscule from time to time, talking about old writing styles, because it would be very strange to talk about lowercase and uppercase when we are talking about writing with a pen. And then again, I want to um, tell you again that something that can be useful if you read about um, writings, etc., etc. in the past. We had seen the calamus or reed pen. Calamus is a Latin term. If you remember, the reed pen is made with a plant. It is obtained from the plant by cutting the top part, and we obtain a pen that is made in this way, more or less. This is the part that you use to write. Okay. Now the quill pen is instead made with a feather of a bird, typically a goose. You know, images of a writer that have a pen made like this in their hands. Now, the reality is that you have to cut off, oops, you have to cut off all these feathers here. So again, the mm, feather a is shaped like a cylinder, so you can read pen, but it is smaller, so you can write small smaller letters. Let's go to the internet to see this one. Okay, this is a reed pen. You can see how it is cut. This is a keel, but it was not used in this way. Let's see. This is from a manual. Okay. This is basically the same thing of a calamus, of a reed pen, but smaller. Okay, here is an example. If you are curious about terminology. If you want to read about um, the history of Latin writing, um, there are there is a book I listed in the oh there is a book I listed in the bibliography. Let's go back here. Okay. No, why is not here? Give me a moment. There was an error. By the way, let's see. Okay, the book is called, I write it in the chat. Latin paleography. Oh, the author is B. Bischoff. Cambridge University Press. This is one source of information. The other one is this one. The Vatican Library has a educational section on Latin paleography, where you can read about what we talked about in these lessons here. It is quite short, and so it should be easy to read. Okay. No, 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 no. Okay. In chat. No. Okay. I will copy the same information on Google Classroom. Okay. That website is interesting because you can also find links to a manuscript in the same page. So, for example, the so-called Carolingian or Caroline, and here you can find example from manuscript from the Vatican Library. Okay, so you can browse the manuscript here. By the way, I say that in the Middle Ages, in the early Middle Ages, there was this regional breakup of writing styles, and I just want to show you something. But I did expect something more than this. Hmm. If you see here in the middle, you can see that uh, it's not that strange, but they used a lot of ligatures that make this script quite hard to read. So, now we have finished, at least I am. In next week, it is an holiday in Italy, the 1st of November. So we will see the 8th of November, I think. Yep. Meanwhile, I will see what you have done. I've seen that you uploaded something Google Classroom. So then at the beginning of November, so the 8th of November, we can start thinking about the exam project. Okay. For now, I have to go. I'm sorry, but today I was. I wasn't so okay with my health, and I thought that I would be better, but unfortunately, COVID is not very easy. Okay, so see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Get well.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Professor.
Goodbye.
Get well
Thank you.
soon.
Bye.